Obesity can constitute a disability within European law, the EU's highest court has ruled. The European Court of Justice was asked to rule on the case of a male childminder in Denmark who says he was sacked for being too fat. The court said that if obesity could hinder full and effective participation at work, then it could count as a disability. The ruling is binding across the EU. The case centers around childminder Karsten Kaltoft, who weighs about 160 kilograms, 25 stone. He brought a discrimination case against his employers of 15 years, Billund local authority, after he was sacked. The authority said a fall in the number of children meant Mr Kaltoft was no longer required. But Mr Kaltoft said he was dismissed because he was overweight. Earlier this year he told the BBC that reports he was so fat he was unable to bend low enough to tie children's shoelaces was untrue. Describing his work with children, he said, "I can sit on the floor and play with them, I have no problems like that. I don't see myself as disabled. It's not okay just to fire a person because they're fat, if they're doing their job properly." The Danish courts asked the European Court of Justice, ECJ, to clarify whether obesity was a disability. The ECJ ruled, the court finds that if, under given circumstances, the obesity of the worker entails a limitation which results in particular from physical, mental or psychological impairments which in interaction with various barriers may hinder the full and effective participation of that person in professional life on an equal basis with other workers, and the limitation is a long-term one, such obesity can fall within the concept of disability within the meaning of the directive. Rulings from the European Court of Justice are binding for all EU member nations. The courts in Denmark will now have to assess Mr Kaltoft's weight to see if his case can be classed as a disability. Jane Devlamond, the chairwoman of the British Obesity Society, said obesity should not be classed as a disability. She told the BBC, "I think the downside would be that if employers suddenly have to start ensuring that they've got wider seats, larger tables, more parking spaces for people who are obese, I think then we're just making the situation worse." It is, implying that people have no control over the condition, rather than something that can be greater improved by changing behavior. Paul Callaghan, head of employment law at international law firm Taylor Wessing, said the ruling does not change UK law. The European Court of Justice has ruled that obesity itself is not a disability, but that the effects of it can be. As such, workers who suffer from, for example, joint problems, depression, or diabetes, specifically because of their size, will be protected by the European Equal Treatment Framework Directive and cannot be dismissed because of their weight.